All right. So he claims he's around at the last minute,
The
as
person
usual.
whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable.
Oh, way to go, Venison. All right. Well, hey, um, we just need to wait for like co-hosts to actually, show up. So bear with us because it used to be co-hosts came from far and wide. And speaking of co-hosts,
Yeah, I don't know why it does that.
that's okay.
No, it's not. This, that's starting to, bug the fuck out of me.
What
You know,
your Skype doesn't ring?
no.
That's
What
okay.
the?
Well, that's
You
okay.
know, it's for some reason, but people try to get a hold of me. It says I'm not available. But
Oh,
I got a green light up there and everything. Everything says I'm online.
huh. Well, it is Skype.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm gonna go back to a real old version and see if it corrects it.
It's funny. I used to have people that whenever they set up a new computer, they call me and be like, "Skype's broken. It's not working." And it turned out that SCCM had the installer for a really old version of Skype for Business that doesn't even connect to anything anymore, and doesn't even know to prompt you to auto update. So you can get old versions of Skype that do nothing.
Oh yeah, but not that old though.
Which
But
probably is still better than the current version. But
exactly. Because the last updates that I got, I updated both of them, and that's when I had the problem.
yeah. Anyways,
Great going, Microsoft.
if anyone was ever curious what hurricanes taste like, they taste like blue.
What?
Hurricanes, they taste like blue.
Oh, those. Okay.
No, hey, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
You got synesthesia?
What's that?
You got synesthesia? I think that's what it's called.
I don't know what that is. So
that's a condition where certain people can actually taste color.
Ah. Well, no, I mean, but it's well, not literally. I mean, technically, all colors taste the same. They taste like wax.
What?
You never ate crayons?
No. Blue, yes, no. But crayons, no.
Actually, no, wait. I take that back. Crayons taste like purple. We all know this from Greg the Bunny.
Okay.
You don't remember that line from Greg the Bunny? That was one of my favorite TV sitcom lines of all time. Crayons taste like purple.
Oh, now I remember that show.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
We can sing and dance, and we don't wear pants. See, we're just like you. And it was that turtle character, Tardy the Turtle, who...
Crayons taste like purple.
Yeah.
Hey, I can see it just like me, because I'm not wearing any pants either.
And this is why your webcam is turned off.
Well, I got back from the store. I took the travel pants off. I didn't put the house pants back on.
I see.
Yeah. I'm too comfortable.
Anyways, on that note, I think it's time to open the show because it's time for another fun-filled edition of Time Out with Gators and Venison. And
with no pants.
Well, I've got shorts on, which is technically not pants. They're short pants. That's why they call them shorts. So, anyways, yeah, it's Monday. We were not here last week because I was in Florida last week. All last week, learning all about what Microsoft is up to these days. And you know what Microsoft's up to these days? They're putting it all in the cloud. It's all going in the cloud. Everything. Let's just pack it all up, put it in the cloud.
Damn.
Pretty much the direction everything's going in. But no, it was fun being away for a week and living it up with a large suite with 2 bedrooms and 3 beds, a couch, a love seat, 3 TVs, 2 bathrooms, 1 hot tub, all for me. It was a little overkill. I got lost trying to find my bed.
Yeah.
Well, no, what happened was my supervisor, basically the week before the convention started, said, "Oh, hey, we're going to that convention, right?" I'm like, "Well, that's what you told me like a few months ago." He goes, yeah, well, you signed up, right? I'm like, "Yeah, I signed up," and they sent me an email confirming that, and I forgot about that. Yeah, me too. We need to book rooms. Okay, so the only thing left in the area that had rooms was this resort that had all these suites with hot tubs. So we each booked our... We could have shared a suite and each had our own room in this thing and been perfectly fine. But we didn't do that. We each booked our own suite.
Of course, you got a hot tub. You want it for yourself, not to share with a bunch of old men.
I actually didn't get around to using the hot tub at all. I didn't even go in the pool. You just kind of...
Oh, damn.
Well, I was, busy with doing my own stuff. We did some drinking.
First world dissing.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, because it's one of those things when you have a business trip, it's free meals. You go out to eat and you expense it, and you get reimbursed for all your meals and stuff like that. Now, on past jobs...
Lobster?
What's that?
You have lobster?
No. But
What?
well, heck, if I want lobster, I'm not going to go to Florida. I'm going to go to Maine. Come on.
Well, you're free.
I ate quite well, thank you. We went to a Mexican restaurant one night.
Mexican.
Ordered tableside guacamole for our appetizer. Like, a guy came up to our table with a cart with a bunch of avocados and everything on the cart, and cut open avocados, made guacamole while chatting with us. And there you go. It was great guac. And they made some great fajitas. They got filet mignon fajitas. And
Filet mignon fajitas?
yes, they were awesome. Absolutely awesome. And ordered a drink that comes with jalapeno on the rim of the glass. It was some kind of spicy boozy drink. It was really good. And then after that, my supervisor was like, "Let's go someplace else to grab a beer." But when we went to the next place, it was just like you couldn't even get to the bar because it was so packed. And we're like, screw this. We'll go to the hotel bar. So we get an Uber back to the hotel. We'll get up to the hotel bar and proceed to be ignored for the next 20 minutes because there's no seats. So we're just standing there like, "Hey, can we get a beer?" And they're not even looking at us. It's like, you're not sitting at the bar. You don't exist.
Yeah,
So-
you ordered a beer. Your local, your tourist trash.
It's the hotel bar. Everyone there is tourist trash. No locals are coming into this place. So anyways, the next night out, Nordine's like, "We're not making that same mistake again." So we went to dinner at this nice Mediterranean place. And then afterward, he's like, "Let's go someplace else for a drink." And I'm like, "Well, remember that Uber driver yesterday told us about some club called Mangoes." So I pulled up Mangoes on Google Map, and it's the type of place that has a lot of dancing and shows and singing, and so
Strippers?
well, no. I mean, it is. They are nice looking ladies, and yes, I was enjoying the dancing, but there was not stripping going on.
No.
It wasn't a go-go bar. This was a. Let's put it like this.
It doesn't need to be a go-go bar. They can still have strippers without being a go-go bar.
This is the type of place you could pick up women.
Oh.
Right. So, or this is the type of place women could pick up you. Of course, I'm wearing my my wedding band, so I ain't getting picked up by no one. Which is fine and dandy. Why am I gonna mess around with that? But my supervisor sitting next to me. So we're sitting at the bar, and I walk in there, and we're looking at the drink menu, and there's a lot of rum drinks, and it's kind of got this like like jungle Caribbean type of theme thing going on there. And I'm like, I'll order a mojito because I know mojitos are good. I like mojitos, and he orders a drink, and he's like, hey, why don't we get a shot too? And so he orders this lemon drop shot. So we clink, do our lemon drop shot. I drink my mojito. He drinks his drink. After I'm done, he's like, well, how's the mojito? I'm like, I like it. It's good. He's like, all right, I'll order one. I'm like, all right, give me another mojito. Yeah, all right, 2 mojitos. Boom. And mind you, we're all putting this on one tab, which basically he's like, I'm expensing this. So we're out at a club strictly for drinking. This is getting expensed. this is a good job I got. They will pick up your drinking tab when you're on a business trip. So yeah, I had a drink with dinner. I had lemon drop shot. I had 2 mojitos, and then he goes and now he's not liking any of these sugar drinks. He's like, this is all sugary. I don't like sugar. He doesn't really go for the sugar, but that's the type of drinks this place makes. So he goes to use the restroom. And he's like, order 2 of something. Just order something. All right. I'm looking through the menu, and I'm like, well, let's see. There's hurricanes. What's in that? Let's see. Pineapple, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. He might not like. And I'm looking through all the. He already did the mojito. He didn't like the mojito because it was too sugary. And it gets to the point where we got ignored when we ordered the second drinks. For a while. So once the guy was looking my way and was like, what do you want to order? I don't want to tell him to come back in a few minutes because I don't know when I'm going to see him again. So I'm like, I better order 2 of something. And the only thing that I can remember reading on the menu there was hurricanes. So I said, I'll have 2 hurricanes, please. And that's just that I realized that being in Florida, that was kind of hit hard with a hurricane. That might not have been the best drink order, but he brought me and he brought these 2 very blue looking drinks. And
too soon.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even think of it till after I ordered it.
Of course not. You're not from Florida.
Yeah. So of course, it tasted like blue. It was very blue. No, I had some pineapple flavor to it. But my supervisor did not care for the hurricane, but he drank it. While we're sitting there, this cute blonde comes and sits next to my supervisor, and she starts chatting him up, and he's chatting with her some. Now, I can't hear the conversation because it's loud in there. It's kind of a loud type of club. And at some point when he, that's right, when he went to the restroom, she starts chatting to me a bit. She complimented me on my shirt. She liked my shirt. And so, thanked her for that. So he comes back and she's chatting him up and just chatting up a storm with him. And at some point she comes over to me and she goes, well, he got this wrong, so let's see if you can answer this question correctly. You got to get this. He goes, I'm recently divorced. My husband was a pilot. What's the reason for the divorce? And to give you a hint, he already said because he was away too much, and that was the wrong answer. And so I said, flight attendant. And and she confirmed that yes, I was correct. Flight attendant was the reason. So apparently, 3 years he'd been having this affair with the flight attendant, and they got a kid together. And but the kid's with someone else that evening, so she's just going out to have a good time and escape a bit. And she wants to dance. So now my supervisor turned down her request to dance because he don't dance, and I'm like, oh, you could totally pull it off, you could. So she asks me to dance, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'd embarrass myself if I went out on the dance floor with this cute chick. So I was like, I'm sorry, I don't have enough drinks in me. Mind you, I did have like 5 drinks in me at this point, but that still wasn't. It was getting close to the point where I'd be like, yeah, let's go dance. I don't care how much of a fool I make of myself. I wasn't quite there yet. If she had just waited a little bit to ask, she would have told. But she went and danced with some other people, and she was having a good old time. And so then she buys me and my supervisor a drink, and that was a Long Island raspberry. And that was all right. I liked that. I don't think my supervisor didn't like any of the drinks at this place, but he was having a good time. And so we decided at the end of that drink, we're going to, head on out. And so we finished that drink, and he's like, all right, you ready to go? I'm like, well, you got to say goodbye to your friend. Because I knew what was going on here. I knew
You
that
were still able to walk?
yeah. I only had 6 drinks in me. I was fine.
Oh, only 6.
Yeah. So, but I knew that this chick was trying to pick him up. So I'm like, you can't leave without saying goodbye to her. And you know, and he's like, all right, whatever. And she comes back, and he says her goodbyes. And he's like, you ready? You ready? I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay. Venison,
Yeah.
what are you doing right now?
Yeah, I forgot. This internal microphone picks up everything. I'm pouring a drink.
That's pouring a drink.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And now the Mountain Dew. Okay, I'm done.
What were you pouring before the Mountain Dew?
Vodka.
That sounded like a whole lot of vodka and not so much Mountain Dew.
yeah, it does. Yeah, let me stir it.
So you're trying to go for the live experience here of drinking while hearing the story about the club.
Why do that anyway? If I got vodka here during the show, I'm drinking it.
That's the way to go. Right. So he's like, ready to go? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to head out. He goes, okay, I'm staying. She asked him to stay, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to stay. And I'm like, oh, he's going for it. He's told, because he must know that she's looking to hook up with him. I mean, he's got to have this figured out. Apparently, she typed on his phone, please hang out with me, and showed it to him when he was like, we're getting ready to leave. And so I'm like, I give him a little, punch on the arm, a little point, like, hey, good luck. You have fun, and you go get him. And I call an Uber and go home. Go back to the suite, drink a ton of water, and I woke up the next morning feeling not so bad. Slight little headache, but I figured I could push through this, and I was wrong. I did make it to lunch before the headache turned into a pounding thing, and my stomach was like, "You will lie down now, or I'm going to kill you." And so I had to get back to my room and sleep off the rest of that day. Perfectly fine by the evening, though. But I did. My supervisor did text me, so I texted him back and said, "Hey, how'd the rest of the evening go?" He's like, "Oh, it was all right. I just stayed for another drink, and then I got a ride back." I'm like,
"Oh, here's the dog."
And I'm like, "Alone?" And he goes, "Yeah. Why?" So at dinner that night, I had to ask him, "Dude, what do you mean you went back alone?" He's like, "Yeah, that was just talking, just hanging out. He just wanted to talk." I'm like, she did not just want to talk. You could have totally brought her back. No, it wasn't like that. I'm like, hey, let me ask you something.
No, it wasn't like that. He did her in the back room.
No. Well, he does have a girlfriend, so he wasn't going for that anyways. Which,
he wasn't married. He's just a girlfriend. So have a side bitch.
It was a committed relation. He's in a committed relationship. Okay. Some people have those, but I did. But he didn't. I don't think he really got that she was trying to. She was good to go. He totally could have. I'm like, you totally could have brought her back to the suite and had to. He's like, nah, I don't. I'm like, let me ask you something. Did you get a number? Well, yeah. Now that you mentioned it, she did give me her number. I'm like, yeah. She didn't give that to you to say hello. Yeah. So then the next night we went on a helicopter tour. Also going to be put on my supervisor's expense report. I just want to be clear that this night of drinking and the helicopter tour, my supervisor paid for those. My supervisor's putting those on his expense report. They're not going on my expense report. This was not my idea. So
luxury items at the taxpayer expense.
Taxpayer? We don't work for the government. What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know.
So all I know is that there might be an opening soon for a supervisory position for me to apply for. So I have that to look forward to. No, it was a good trip, but I did learn a lot about Microsoft tools that we have not yet upgraded to or are not utilizing properly. But
And corporate perks.
it is good to know. So, how was your week, Venison?
Like shit.
Like shit.
I don't know what happened, but for the past week, I had no energy, no stamina at all. Something in my body was just like, main power's down for repairs. Talk to us later. I get up, make a cup of coffee, sit down. I'd be tired. It's like, what the fuck? I'm trying to go out there and clear out the branch, those branches that are over my walkway, and so the hacksaw, trying to saw them off. I get one branch done, I gotta go back in the house, lie down, or I'll pass out. It's like, what the fuck? And that started to scare me. But, this seems to be taking care of itself now because I'm getting stronger again. Whatever it was temporary.
Oh, that's good. Sounds like you caught a little something temporarily there.
Yeah, and when I did my pre-shopping, took a bus, did a lot of walking, hit a lot of stores, came back home, and then had to sit down for a while. But it's getting there.
So, listen.
Soon I'll be lifting transmissions again.
Yeah. Well, if anyone wants to write in about their transmission lifting stories, we have NHB Live through AOL Instant Messenger, at NHB Radio on Twitter. I believe if you go to our Facebook page, you could post responses to the show announcement that's posted there. That comes through our messenger program. Carrier pigeons, just send them towards Massachusetts. There you go. Or you can send them to Jersey for venison.
Well, I don't have any messages up. How about that?
So what's your take on the whole take a knee thing there, Venison?
Don't get me started.
Pro or con?
I'll just say this. A poll was taken. 82% of Americans supported it because of free speech and what they were protesting against, which, with the other percentage doesn't have a clue or don't care because they're the R word.
I think it's interesting, some of the reactions that it gets.
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
I mean, heck, this came up last night on the Dune and Bob show, and Dune is one of those people that is very offended by people disrespecting the flag or the national anthem. I'm someone that understands that it could be a symbol for different things and different people. And
that's just it. They weren't doing that. They were not doing that. They were not disrespecting the flag. They were not disrespecting the national anthem. What they were protesting against was, was the racial injustice that they were constantly, abused by.
Yes. And
that brings up another issue.
And there are people that are in denial of this injustice, and it's kind of disheartening.
Just people are just plain racist, and says fuck you.
I don't think it's quite that simple. There are certainly people that may be, but first of all, what they're doing isn't. There's a difference between going out and burning a flag, or going out and taking a shit on the flag, or doing some kind of distasteful demonstration, or quietly kneeling in protest. I mean, they're quiet, they're kneeling down. It's actually quite polite, the actions that they're taking.
The reason, it's just it. The reason they're doing that, because nothing else has worked. Everything else they try to do in some kind of protest they have always put it down. Always, try to say it was something else.
I think it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. I mean, there is injustice in our law enforcement that is not being properly dealt with, and so it makes you kind of feel like if you got this injustice in this country, and you have a system that's rigged against you, why should I show honor towards a symbolism that stands for this country when I don't like what this country is standing for right now? It's not like, let's do this to piss off a bunch of people. It's, that's a flag that represents a country in which there is injustice and a system that is not working for me and for many people like me. So we're not going to stand. We're not going to honor that. We're going to kneel in protest. Politely, quietly, kneel in protest. It makes sense to me. And yes, I support them. That said, that doesn't mean I'm going to get out in people's faces and say, well, you have to be okay with it too. If you're offended, you have a right to be offended. We all have a right to be offended. But let's at least try to understand that what it means. Let's try to understand.
Damn, Skype is making this thing load slower. Shit. Come on. Because I've got something for you here. Which pretty much, says it all in the eyes of an innocent.
Yeah, I've read that, and I don't know. To be fair, I don't know if that was what the player's intent is, but it is a poetic explanation.
Which one are you thinking of?
Someone asked a child about what they think of it, and they talk about
that one.
You take a knee out of respect to a player who's hurt on the field, and the country is hurting, so maybe that's why the players are taking a knee for the anthem, for the flag, because our country is hurting, and out of respect, we're taking a knee. That's it. It is poetic in a way. I did like the sentiment there.
That was exactly it. Damn. It takes so long. Thank you. And, okay, have you been looking at my posts on Facebook?
Yeah.
Because there's two others on there that also says it all. One of them, was this girl that, read the statement, about, it was meant for all lives matter, but it was in regard to this too.
Okay.
And it's the video. They don't have the audio tracks to that. And then, as far as respect for the country goes, there was that Blackish clip.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah,
that from after Trump's win.
Yeah, that was, those two.
Yeah.
Are the most significant, points of why they did that. It's the most significant ever. It's like, and especially when he said, don't you care about your country? What did you say to me?
Right.
And then went into the whole, went into the whole diatribe of that, and it was, I gotta admit, out of all the things that series has said and done, that blew my mind, because that was absolutely beautiful.
I can't find that clip on your Facebook right now. I'm finding all the pumpkin spice stuff though.
Below that.
Oh, you posted it below the pumpkin spice stuff. Okay. You posted a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. This is the monologue, which is quite powerful.
Wait, no, hold on. What's up?
Oh, no,
You
no. Don't play it
nothing
yet.
to
Don't
say
play
about
it yet.
any of this.
Stop.
Okay,
Play it. Nope.
I've stopped.
Play the one before that.
Oh, okay. The one before that. All right, here we go. Here's the one before that.
Splish splash, I was taking a nap. Long about a Saturday night.
This is the one you wanted.
No.
Thinking everything was alright. Well, Mom started screaming and I wondered what for. I thought I only farted, but I did something more. And in a splish splash, I left something in the bath. Well, how was I to know it was more than farting going on? There was a splishing and a splashing, cooking with a two-step, sucking and a dumping. Yeah! Bing bang, I saw the whole...
Okay, yeah, that is not the clip you intended. What am I looking for?
I'm going down it now. I'm trying to find it myself.
Okay, well, there's a clip of
Oh, there it is.
"Don't resist and you have nothing to fear." Is that the one?
No.
No.
No. It's the one that says, how to respond when someone says all lives matter. It's kind of far. It's past the tale of two Americas. It's past the. It's past as mean as when you're waiting for the cops to bring your license back, and two more squads show up. I had that happen.
Anti-vaxxer, Texas Sportcaster.
You went too far.
Oh, I went too far. No, I don't see. All right, let me scroll up. All right, we got Obama talking about the guns.
Well, no. Go to Venison, to my profile.
I'm on your profile.
Oh. And how you finding all that other stuff?
It's on your profile. It's right on your wall, on your page, on your.
Because after the pumpkin spice,
I do a search for all lives. I don't even find it here.
Oh shit! Damn it! I don't know why you can't find that. Jesus talk to Republicans. It's not even, it's far down, but it's, it's kind of a few more down below the pumpkin spice stuff.
Okay, so maybe it's higher. All right, let's see. Social Security, spam, toilet paper, condom,
below that.
tampons, Halloween coffee, heavy metal, pumpkin spice pizza, rest in peace Hugh Hefner, your hybrid gets, something with a cat, A Tale of Two Americas, Jesus Talks to Republicans in 2015. Oh, here we go. Yeah, all right. So this was above it then.
To the girl on Facebook who commented #AllLivesMatter after deeming the protest she attended a hateful event Martin Luther King would have been ashamed of. Call it an overreaction. Call it a riot, a violent protest. Call it everything but justified. Ask us to be polite, to stay calm, to voice grief with respect while our brothers' bodies are laid out on the street, sounding the alarm. Our bodies are threats well before they are human, and you still want to know the source of our rage. You fear our rage will happen across a storefront window, will happen across a corporate office. You fear the glass shards glittering under police helicopters. We fear your rage will drag our children into the streets and dance in the red pool beaming under street lamps. I cannot decorate this pain for you. I cannot make a beautiful homage. I can't invoke hope in prayer. I don't know how to make you understand the occupation your ignorance has blinded you to. That black bodies are stopped and frisked so often we might as well call our cities war zones. Every street corner a checkpoint. Violence is not always a dead body. Violence can be a pat-down in broad daylight because you share the same hue as suspect. Violence is indicting the man who filmed the killing of Eric Garner, but not the officer that illegally choked the life out of his body while 5 others assisted in the arrest. Violence is convincing a jury that he caused his own death, that had he not been overweight, he would have survived. Violence is needing 6 officers to arrest 1 unarmed, non-violent man in the first place. How can we accept a government that only applies the law to fill prisons with black bodies? How can we accept a government that permits and perpetuates violence against its people? The state traded white hoods for police uniforms, and you want our marches peaceful. You want us calm. You want us quiet. Stop asking us to bite our tongues when we cannot guarantee our siblings safe passage to the corner store. Yet you still want to talk about looting. Want to police our protest tactics. You want me to know that you would have cared about the tombstones this nation is hoarding if we hadn't blocked traffic. You think stopping trains is silly. You want us to march peacefully, to replicate your disfigured perception of Martin, but Dr. King said, riots are the voices of the unheard, and you will hear us now. It is not enough for you to hold our dead in your prayers, to wish us love and light. I get the sentiment, but it won't keep my kin from becoming ghosts. I am not interested in resignations or remorse. I don't want apologies. I don't want your guilt. I don't want your tears. I don't want insistence on how not racist you are. I don't want to know how many black friends you have when you won't even risk the discomfort of calling out your own classmates. You just don't get it, do you? You've never lived out the aftermath. The empty seat at the dinner table. The now widowed mother with 6 mouths to feed. My kin are being sent to heaven well before God has requested their return. And you want to know why Malcolm called whiteness the devil. All lives will matter when black lives matter. How many more bodies will be enough evidence? How many videos of our last words? How many more must there be for you to finally call this a genocide?
Powerful words.
Yeah, exactly. And, so one more thing to add to that, what I found interesting was, I can't remember if I said this here or not, but, but I'll say it again. An experiment was carried out, between a white person and a black person. In, in a free, in an armed state, in a, what to call it now? Carry all state, you can carry your firearms around with you, that sort of thing.
A state that allows open carry.
Yeah, there we go. That's the words. Open carry state. Open carry. All right. This white dude went walking around with an AK-47. This cop stopped him. Say, what did you got that for? It's open carry state. Okay. And left. Okay. Black guy did the same thing. Like I said, they filmed the whole thing. The black guy did the same thing. Carrying an AK-47, just walking up the street. No record, no arrest records, no records of anything. And the cop stopped him, and immediately said, put down the firearm, get on the ground, and did the whole thing. And 6 other police cars came up with him, and they arrested him for open carry.
If that's not racism, I don't within our law enforcement, I don't know what is. And if that's not a clear, obvious evidence that we have a law enforcement problem.
There you go.
Now, personally, I don't think either of them should be carrying an AK-47. But if you're gonna, let's be consistent. Let's treat everyone equally here.
Oh yeah, and also damn man, what the hell's wrong with my vocabulary? Okay, and just to accentuate, what she was saying, there in that clip. All right, I still remember, a news article, a news piece, on TV, which case, cops were sitting going after the suspect. Okay, and this 8-year-old kid with a toy gun, sitting there, was going around saying, pew, 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 playing whatever. Cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, whatever. Just playing with it. And, and the cops came out of the corner, and he came around the corner, and he saw them, and he decided to play with us, saying, hey, I can play with them, and he's like, pew, 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 and they shot him. 7 slugs in him, killed him instantly. Because they thought he had a gun. They thought that, they automatically, they think that any black person with a gun means violent harm. It's just a kid with a toy gun that wanted to play with him.
Sad. Absolutely sad that we still have these problems in this country.
And that's why you got to take a knee. That's the reason why. It's not disrespect. It's not, cue up the pocket shutting. It's not disrespecting country.
Okay, I got the clip queued up.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you sit there and say you're disrespecting the flag, you're disrespecting the country. Play it.
Wait, no, hold on. What's so funny, Dre? Yeah, you have had nothing to say about any of this all day. Why do you not care about what's happening to our country?
What did you say to me? You don't think I care about this country? I love this country, even though at times it doesn't love me back. For my whole life, my parents, my grandparents, me, for most black people, this system has never worked for us. But we still play ball. Tried to do our best to live by the rules, even though we knew they would never work out in our favor. Strange fruit. Had to live in neighborhoods that you wouldn't drive through. Send our kids to schools with books so beat up you couldn't read them. Work jobs that you wouldn't even consider in your nightmares. And blood at the roots. Black people wake up every day believing that our lives are gonna change, even though everything around us says it's not. Truth be told, you ask most black people and they tell you that no matter who won this election, they didn't expect the hood to get better. Strange fruit. But they still voted because that's what you're supposed to do. You think I'm not sad that Hillary didn't win? That I'm not terrified about what Trump's about to do? I'm used to things not going my way. I'm sorry that you're not, and it's blowing your mind. So excuse me if I get a little offended because I didn't see all of this outrage when everything was happening to all of my people since we were stuffed on boats in chains. I love this country as much, if not more, than you do, and don't you ever forget that.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like I said, those 2 clips says it all.
And if you need another clip, you never know what you're going to find on Venison's Facebook page.
If you want something like that, there's another one. It's a little animated piece, where they sing a song. It says, I'm going to kick somebody's ass. That one was hysterical. But good luck finding that one. I couldn't find that. It's down there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go digging for that. I'm sure.
It was fucking funny. Yeah, but everything's going wrong for him, and he's going to kick somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much it. But yeah, that's why it's like I said, all this talk about disrespecting the flag, blah blah. The NFL, they're going to burn my tickets. Go right ahead. That just means that somebody else will take your seat.
Now, a statement was made that I found interesting about apparently the ratings and viewing are going downhill for NFL in response to this. I actually did a little research on this. Now
they were going up.
Actually, no, they are going down. However, it has been a trend for at least the past 4 years that they are going down, with more people cutting cable and viewing these things through different ways and streaming and such. So, what do the numbers mean? Certainly there are people that are offended by this and are responding by, "Well, I'm not watching." So, how widespread is it? How much is it happening? It's not quite clear cut and simple. It's not a straightforward measurement. Because viewership through traditional methods has been on the decline for years.
Not only that, because on the weekends, let's face it, all you got on is TV, which limits my TV watching quite a bit. All you got on TV is NFL games or college games. Football teams, this, that, the other thing. And some of them were doing a kneeling thing, locking arms, whatever. All right? But you look at the camera view. All the seats are filled. I didn't see not one empty seat. Like I said, burn your season tickets. Good. You just lost a shitload of money for those tickets.
Yeah, you still paid for them.
You still paid for them. You burned them. Too bad. Someone else is going to take your seat.
Besides, you know what? That's the beautiful thing in this country. If you want to protest by burning your tickets, exercise.
Go right ahead.
You have the right in this country to exercise your display to protest in the form of burning your tickets. Go
right ahead.
Go.
Other people who weren't able to get in now can get in.
Well, I don't know. I mean, because burning the ticket doesn't automatically free up the seat. So there is a bummer that now it's going to be an empty seat and go to waste. But I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, and you want to? Just briefly, so we, even though we don't have to go that far with this one. I saw this, but I just couldn't. Okay. Twitter post: Pat Robertson blames Trump haters for Las Vegas shooting like a deranged madman. Blaming Trump haters for the Las Vegas shooting. Why? How? It's domestic terrorism. And one senator came out and said it. It's domestic terrorism, even though the Republicans won't say it. Oh well. Because we got a white guy acting as a lone wolf, not associated with ISIS or any of the Muslim groups in any way. Went in there, shot up 68 people, all like a shit, with 10 rifles, and yeah. So they're looking for any excuse, any reason why, and blaming the wrong people. Fake news.
I just wonder what it's going to take to get people to take the gun problem in this country seriously. How many more people need to die senselessly, unnecessarily, because no one wants to take the gun problem in this country seriously. I'm not suggesting that you pass a law, everything goes away, but you look at the numbers. No. You look at the amount of mass shootings we have in this country compared to any other country. Clearly, we're doing something wrong in this country. We're doing something wrong, and we can do things to help this problem if we'd actually start taking the problem seriously. Anyone who opposes any kind of gun control, anytime the topic comes up without any intelligent discussion, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. There needs to at least be some intelligent discussion. We need to actually do something and take some action. Why do we never take any action? Why is no one taking any action?
Because, guns for everybody makes the country safe.
I mean, a big problem, a big argument that's brought up is that there's no research that, that demonstrates that, that a lack of research is often cited, or a lack of evidence. Research that cites. Well, the problem is that there's a law that forbids doing any kind of research on these issues. You can't even research. You can't fund any kind of study or research anything. Research? No, NRA won't allow it because that could lead to gun control. Yeah, because if we have more knowledge that gun control might actually help, then that would be bad.
Oh, you mean Sandy Hook, Pulse, Charleston, Aurora, San Bernardino, Fort Hood, Virginia Tech, Columbine, Las Vegas.
I'm talking about researching different policies, different law. I mean, there are policies in place. Let me see if I can find what exactly.
Look, it's that simple. You put the gun control for this reason only. You weed out the criminals. You weed out the gang members. You weed out the drug dealers.
Okay, I found the statement I'm looking for. Someone actually posted this. I retweeted this. As you begin to hear politicians say, we don't have any proof that gun control would stop mass shootings, it's good to remember that Congress banned the CDC from studying gun violence for the past 15-plus years. It's called the Dickey Amendment, and the guy who wrote it has since advocated for its repeal, and yet Congress signs it back into law every year or so. So, yeah, we can't even do proper study and research on gun violence. That is how bad this problem is getting. We can't even analyze the problem.
Yeah, and the problem is so bad that more deaths in this country have occurred, far more than any ISIS terrorist threat. From our own domestic violence.
I mean, we have tragedy after tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, and we got the NRA gun nuts that just are, head in the sand. No, the guns aren't the problem. And I know the guns alone aren't the problem, and I know it's complicated, but that's the thing. It's complicated. It's not as simple as ban the weapons. It's not as simple as arm the bears.
Yes, it is.
It is complicated.
Stop the convicted convicts from getting them. Stop the drug dealers from getting them. Stop the deranged people from getting them, mentally insane people from getting them. They even allowed those people, this discharge from mental institutions to buy guns.
What
really?
I don't get it when you have common sense policy being turned down. Really, we want to let mentally ill people to own guns. This is an intelligent policy. Let's arm the mentally ill. Seriously? I mean, how am I supposed to take you seriously if you're even for arming the mentally ill. How? How am I supposed to take that seriously? You're deranged, you're nuts. Sit down and let the responsible adults come up with policy.
Remember, common sense died a couple of years ago.
Apparently. The NRA is a real problem in this country, and we need less.
They held a funeral. They held a funeral and everything.
What was my invitation?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay, and just to get away from that subject because we don't need it anymore. We're pretty much beat a dead horse because because either side won't capitulate. But now I did now saw something that was like, what the fuck? I went to read something before about something I heard on TV about steak flavored ice cream.
Steak flavored. Well, sometimes you run out of new ideas, and so then you got to start stretching. I mean, it can't.
But that was a comedy. But this one apparently is for real. Five Guys has a bacon flavored milkshake.
Well, I think
why?
I think what it is if you so choose to, you could add bacon to your milkshake because they got milkshakes, they got bacon, and if you're into kinky shit like that, they'll take your money. I mean, that's just smart business practice right there. If you have bacon and you have milkshake, someone comes up to the counter and says, "I will give you money for a milkshake with bacon in it. How much bacon would you like, sir?" I believe is the next line of dialogue in that conversation.
Bacon flavored milkshakes. Now, I would find that really funny, except for the fact that they have pumpkin spice tacos and burritos.
Well, those I think are jokes, but I
no, they aren't. They're real.
Oh no. Well, what about the pumpkin spice tampons? I think that's my personal favorite right there.
I think they're real too.
I don't think they're real. I don't think people eat tampons. I just no,
it's not about eating them. It's about making your pussy smell better. I mean, what's on a tampon? Blood, pus, and all kinds of other discharges. Nasty.
This is not a product I'm familiar with the use of, so I'm just going to leave this one alone. I dare you to find me one person that would actually purchase a pumpkin spice tampon. I just don't think it's I don't think it's viable as a serious product.
Well, hey, there's there's pumpkin spice tampons.
Now the pumpkin spice Trojans, I get the concept of. I mean, flavored brand of that happens. That can help apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh-oh. Let's get fucked up here. Give me a moment.
Okay.
3:17, 3:07. Okay, I got plenty of time. Hit the record. Record!
What are you timing?
Come on! Thank you. There we go. Okay, well, we seem to have a slight problem here.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Between this show and two other shows which would be awesome, which are awesome. And basically my TV watching. Because now there are two shows that are on that at the same time as this show, which could cause a problem.
Oh, there's no problem. That's what DVR is for.
I don't have a DVR.
That's what streaming on demand is for.
I can't afford that.
You have internet, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Well, there you go. You go to the website for like the network, and you can after the fact.
They
stream.
charge you. CBS All Access. I can't watch Star Trek. Those assholes put Discovery on All Access only.
Well,
and you gotta pay for that.
Well, that you can't do anyways because it's not on the TV. So, but the stuff that is on the TV, generally, some of that is available free temporarily.
Where? I could check out South Park, because the streaming sites I frequent, has it. After a couple days after the episode airs, they got it. They got it there for streaming. But the problem I'm having with the computer, I can download it and watch it, perfectly clear. Oh, yeah. The most outrageous one was the new season 21. Which they did the goofing on North Korea and Trump, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it's I haven't seen that one yet, but so.
Oh, you should. You should.
But could we get a sane leader? I miss the days of. I'll say it right here, right now. At least W was sane. Sure, he dragged us into unnecessary wars and resulted in the unnecessary deaths of hundreds of people and have a ton of blood on his hands. But at least he was sane about it. At least he was sane about sending hundreds of people off to their unnecessary death on because he has a beef with another country. At least he did it in a sane way. We've now reached insanity.
He wanted to prove that he was just as good as his father, and the Iraq thing, and create ISIS in the beginning. But Obama, oh yeah, blame Obama for everything, even though he was the one person that put this country back together after the Bush, devastation.
I'm just waiting for the midterms. Just let's wait and see what the public think when it comes time for the midterms, because
that's just it. Then you got a problem. The same problem you had with Trump. You realize that Trump only got like 35 to 37% of the vote. Everybody else decided not to vote because they were pissed off that Bernie Sanders was eliminated.
Well, yeah.
And all they had was Hillary.
But this time around, we got people that are pissed off that Trump won. And you know who comes out to vote? Pissed off people.
Yeah, but they still, they figure midterms.
Well,
that's not
midterms are generally not friendly to the party in power. I mean, that's when Obama lost it, because all the rich assholes that can't handle poor people having health coverage decided to come out and vote the Democrats out in Congress, and then they gerrymandered their way to stay in, and hopefully we could get some sanity back in our Congress. You know what it was? The Republicans got in because people were impatient. A lot of the millennials, because people were impatient, because they figured that in 2 years, if he hasn't magically, put together the country from the shit that we went through, in 2 years, it has.
We gotta have somebody else.
It's twofold.
Come on. It took Clinton 8 years
It's
to put us back on track.
But it
8
is-
years.
But it is twofold, Venison. It has to do with who doesn't come out to vote, but it also has to do with who comes out to vote. So yeah, the Democrats didn't inspire the turnout, but the opposition did, and that's what Republicans are good at, is opposing and getting in the way and blocking progress. Oh, you know what we should do? We should try to check in with Brian Blues because we said we'd give him a call while he's traveling. He is away this week, apparently driving. So let's look up his phone number here and see if we can.
Good idea.
Yeah,
Get away from the politics thing. How do you get back on that track?
It's been on my mind, and this is my show where I could talk about what I want to talk about. So I do.
Oh, I have one last tweet. I'm British. I don't get why Americans can get machine guns but not universal health care.
That is also another good point.
That's the end of it. That's the end of it from my end. Oh, no.
Let's see here. Let's see if it'll let me actually conference it in.
Oh, God. No. Stay away from the Puerto Rico thing.
Okay, here we go. There we go. We're going to add that number. Now, let's see if it actually lets me... Oh, wow. It's going to actually let me invite this to the group call. So let's see what happens here now. We should check in with Brian Blues and let him know what fun he's missing out on.
Will he answer?
That is the question.
It went white.
I don't hear anything, though. Hello? Oh.
It dropped.
Let's try that again.
You warned him.
Yeah, we did. We told him this was happening.
I saw it.
We told him. We told him. He was forewarned. I don't know why Skype's not cooperating.
Microsoft.
Yeah. I missed a convention on how to make Skype work properly. I was hungover when that meeting was taking place.
Brian Woody.
Hello.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Okay, so everyone listening...
You dipshit! Where are you?
Everyone listening, you now try to figure out how you spell that last name. That
we
just
warned you.
We told you we were calling. All you had to do was pick up. That's
You're dissing us.
Yeah, dissing us. This is disrespectful.
What the fuck, man?
This is appalling. We are so offended. Or something. I don't know. Yeah. Hey, we'll try to call you back later and pick up and or hand the phone to the missus if you don't have a hands free. That could. Well, yeah, I think he's driving, so maybe the missus is in the car with him, and maybe she could take the call. That could be interesting.
He's married?
Oh, you don't know Brian Blues is married?
I never knew that.
Oh, yeah. All right. Anyways, anything else we want to leave on this message? If anyone wants to write anything in, any write-in messages for Brian Blues, now would be the time.
You've got 30 seconds.
Yeah. Anyways, and Venison's drinking vodka, and you're totally missing out on that.
Yeah.
And he added a drop of Mountain Dew.
And I've already pissed off Tune.
All right, we'll catch you later. All right.
I'm in timeout room again.
Anyways, yeah. So now we know his last name. We just don't know how to spell it. So,
Oh, and the scientists made another error.
another error.
Uh-huh. Scientists concluded that the chicken came first, not the egg, because the protein which makes eggshells is produced by hens. Okay, so how did hens get there?
You know, it seems to be that it would have to be that at some point life evolved into the egg. So at some point there was a first egg, and at some point there was a first chicken. But does whatever laid the first egg qualified as a chicken, or does whatever came out of the first egg count as a chicken even? Or
Not really.
or because if a chicken laid the first egg, then the chicken came first. But if the first egg hatched something that wasn't a chicken, or that was not yet a chicken,
Nope, it wasn't. Because here's the weird thing. The weird thing. Supposedly, through genetics and all the other junk, the Tyrannosaurus Rex evolved into a chicken. How's that for karma?
right? So eggs. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point, because dinosaurs laid eggs, and
Most of them.
were there chickens around in the age of dinosaurs?
No,
So eggs.
because there were Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
So then eggs would have came before chickens.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Whoa. You just stated an obvious fact. Whoa.
You know, I never thought too hard about this question, but it's pretty easy now that I think about it.
Okay, but, dinosaurs laid eggs, which, through evolution, blah, 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 made chicken. But, when did dinosaurs first start laying eggs?
I don't know. You know, that's the type of thing that I'm not even sure if we could determine that.
Okay, that goes back even further. Back to the aquatic life. And aquatic life, there was eventually evolved into the land animals, and dinosaurs, blah blah blah. Okay, aquatic life, most of them laid eggs. Okay, now go further back. When was the first creature that laid eggs?
Well, we need to ask a scientist, I think.
But scientists are wrong, according to the conservatives.
You know, it's interesting, actually. I was listening to John Oliver this morning, and he did a report about some of the inaccurate science that is used in our judicial system and our law enforcement. There have been cases in which hair analysis is found to be completely inaccurate, and it's a serious problem, because these things there's already been a precedent set to admit these types of technologies in court. People have wrongly testified to being experts about these, and have cited that it is proof. Juries generally believe this stuff, and then later on, after people spend years in prison for a crime they didn't commit, eventually DNA evidence exonerates them. And yet this pseudoscience is still being admissible in court because, well, there's a precedent for it. And once you establish a precedent,
yeah,
it's
racism.
Well, I'm not. You know what? I didn't get into the numbers as far as I think this is an issue that probably affects all races in some way or another. I don't think pseudoscience is being used more for one race than another.
Who are mostly the people being put in jail because of that? Black people.
Well, but that's an issue that is an issue, but that's not an issue that has to do with this particular issue.
Black power.
Okay. That's not what I was trying to get at here. No, but no, this is an issue that can affect anyone, and you have problems with bias, where you have people that are processing or analyzing this evidence are doing it unintentionally with the goal of, we got to get this guy. This is the guy. Let's prove it now, which is totally not the way, not a scientific way at all. And, you know, I recommend looking up the John Oliver episode. It's, you know, this is a real issue. And it's
oh yeah. They'll try anything within their power to prove that the innocent guy did it just because they want to find a victim. To satisfy the masses.
Well, I do generally believe that, at least in most of these cases, there's a genuine belief that they got the guy, that they just need the evidence. And I think there were some cases where there was an innocent mistake was made. We thought that we knew what we were doing with hair analysis. We thought that we could prove it by analyzing this hair and comparing it, and we thought we had a match. And then technology evolves, we go back and go, whoa, wait a minute. We didn't have a fucking clue what we were doing. Whoops, sorry. And
exactly.
And it shows that we can't rush it, and we can't jump the gun when it comes to what science we're using as evidence. And we got to be careful to not get carried away with this. And we've got some bad practices that need to be fixed.
Well, a lot of cases, science doesn't even play into it. They just want, to, blame somebody just because.
Right. And
and I saw a movie based on a true story that exemplifies that. Okay. The thing about pedophiles, that's the word. The thing about pedophiles, all right? People will automatically believe you are guilty, no matter how innocent you are. All right? Because there was one movie where these two brothers, walking down the street, and these two twin girls, about 5 or 6 years younger than the older brother. Okay, wanted to get the attention of the older brother, but the older brother didn't want nothing to do with them. Okay, because they were brats. They were, they were bitches of incredible proportions. Okay, but they got mad, so they went there and said, that they went there and supposedly ratted that the family were a bunch of pedophiles, and they had a dungeon and a basement, sex toys, and all this other kind of sex shit, and everything else. And the parents got arrested, and and even though they found nothing of that sort except for few Playboy type magazines, in the husband's closet. That they found that as the basis for their complaint, and they were put in prison, and it took them about 12 years or so until the kids got them out, because the kids the two brothers were constantly grilled for 8 hours. And he, saying, you had to have done this. Okay, your parents had to have done this. You had to have done this. Your other brother confessed to it. Lied to him. Your other brother confessed to it. Finally, the brothers who were, younger, like 13 and 7 at the time, couldn't take it no more. They just agreed with everything just so they could go home.
Oh yeah, getting false confessions is another issue, and that there are questionable practices at times in interrogating to
they were being for the most part they were being tortured.
Confession.
They were being tortured, to giving a false confession. And they finally capitulated just so they would stop and let them go. But of course, they didn't get let go. The parents got convicted and they got sent to foster homes, which was all kinds of hell for them.
Right.
But finally, when they got older, they got the lawyers and everything else, and they proved the whole thing wrong. But from that time on, their lives were ruined.
And you hear cases about that, and you hope that it's more the minority of situations, but you also hear situations like that aren't properly fixed. And there are, unfortunately, people in our judicial system that don't belong there, that should have never been allowed to be there and should be forbidden from, there are some prosecutors that just have no common sense.
The ones we got now.
No common sense and no decency. Like there was one case. There are drug laws on the books, and they're there for a reason. It's to make sure that drugs aren't being abused. Prescription medications can be abused, can be used wrong, and so you have common sense rules on the book to that put limits on things. And there was, I guess, one guy that was clearly family guy, husband, father of kids, that was on a prescription medication. It was a case that if you looked at this, you could clearly see that this guy was not abusing this medication. He was not hoarding pills, selling pills, abusing pills, but somehow he fulfilled a prescription a little too soon and technically had an amount of pills in his possession that was more than the legal limit. And for some reason, the local law enforcement were observing him and were like you look at this case and you kind of question, why was this even being investigated? Why was this being tracked to this level? And this peaceful guy is just sitting home with a family dinner with his wife and kids, and the SWAT team break into his house, knock down his door, violently throw him down on the floor, and drag him out. And I believe this guy was even in a wheelchair for his medical condition. And it was just, it was this type of thing. You hear this story, and it's like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And it was a case where you looked at this and you're like, okay, a mistake was made. And all right, hey, look it, my bad. Filled this prescription a little too soon. Didn't realize I had, surpassed this quota. I mean, the doctor gave me the prescription. I filled it. I'm using these pills properly. Innocent mistake. Let's, resolve this. And the prosecutor would not let it go. He would not let it rest. He pushed this to the end and destroyed this whole family's lives, all because I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what motivates
because
people
it looks
like that.
good on his record.
I don't.
As a prosecutor,
I will never understand someone that is so motivated to do something that makes them look a little better, that they have no problem destroying multiple people's lives who did nothing wrong. I just don't understand that type of person, and I just wish the society would find a proper way to deal with that type of person, that they are not in a position that they are able to do that. Because if someone has no problem ruining people's lives for a little bit of personal gain, that's a person that needs to be monitored properly and made sure that they are never given a and we have problems. We have some pretty nasty, bad prosecutors in our system that need to be removed, eliminated from the system. Let them find some other line of work. But prosecuting, judicial system, law enforcement, there are some people that need to be removed from these lines of work.
Oh yeah.
It's just sickening. It's sickening. Absolutely sickening.
I've had one of those. Yeah. The judge was going to dismiss the case because of paperwork error, which it was. But the main prosecutor took a day off because of some reason or another, and another prosecutor came in, and the cop who went there and wrote this thing said, just cried to him saying, he used false false paperwork, blah 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 blah. Yeah, and the prosecutor changed my plea from dismissal to suspension of the license 1 year and $1,000 fine, which destroyed my business, my small business, bankrupted it, and I thought that was, I thought there was a law saying that, nobody could destroy a small business in that fashion, but no, it didn't apply to me, because apparently I found out that particular township was a bit racist. And, yeah.
Absolutely sickening.
But, oh God, what's it? Oh, go, come on! I was just thinking of this. The thought after this, the main thought. And now I forgot it. Well,
marijuana is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, I haven't done any for like
I'm just teasing you a little.
7 years.
It's the vodka. The vodka's messing with your memory.
That's it.
We'll blame it on the vodka.
I've had 3. I'm on my third mug now.
Third mug. So we're doing mugs of vodka at this point.
Vodka and Mountain Dew. Yes.
Does the amount of Mountain Dew even count at this point?
Half and half.
Oh, I heard the pouring. I heard this long
The
pour.
vodka came out softer. The vodka came, the Mountain Dew came out softer. I don't know why.
Because you poured it softer. Funny how that works. It's science. There's no pseudoscience about that.
Well, yeah, I'm getting pretty fucked up. But I had food. I had a double Whopper with cheese and extra onions.
There you go. Hey, and speaking of, I don't know. Speaking of fucked up, let's see if we can get Brian Blues to pick up his phone now. Maybe he was. Maybe he was out of reception. Had bad reception where he was. It just wasn't ready for our call yet. So let's see what's going on now there, and see if we can get an answer. He must be out of reception because we don't even get a ring. We just get silence, and then when suddenly nothing happened.
Ryan Woody.
At the tone, please record your message.
Yeah, we don't need to leave another message for him. I think the first one was quite adequate.
Okay, I'm a little bit confused here.
Okay.
Just one quick political question.
Okay.
Who's Stephen Paddock? Apparently, he was nominated for something in the Trump administration. I don't know what. I never heard of him before. But, this guy who is definitely a white supremacist and hates Jews, when it said Stephen Paddock was a far-left anti-white terrorist like James Hodgkinson, both were indoctrinated by Jew-controlled media. Jew-controlled media?
Oh, that sounds like old propaganda.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not old. This is, 6 hours ago? And apparently this guy has been showing up in a few tweets here and there. And, yeah. And so far, yeah, Trump is associating himself with his cabinet and otherwise advisors, etc., with some really nasty people.
Well, he is a nasty person himself, so what do you expect him to surround himself with? I mean, with all the rhetoric that we get from him and the unprofessional way he carries himself and the absolutely discriminatory, racist things he says and policies he tries to implement, what do you expect? Anything this guy touches is a disaster. The Trump presidency is the worst disaster this country has ever suffered.
Oh, but Obama's the worst president we ever had. Yeah. Funny thing about that. Okay, I remember this now. A majority, I'm not going to state the number, but the majority of Americans wish Trump could come back. No, not Trump. Obama could come back. Yeah. And he can't do that because of term limits.
Which is fine. I just would like to see someone with some sanity in the White House.
Yeah, but if we get rid of Trump, there's Pence.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to take. Hopefully, this will just be a one-term thing, and we could get a Democrat back in the White House next time around.
Before we go in the dark from nuclear radiation.
There is that. It is getting kind of scary. It'd be nice if we had enough sanity in our Congress to revoke his access to the nukes just as a, safety measure, because clearly this guy...
they're sort of doing it. They're sort of doing it. They're trying their best to keep him away from the button.
The problem is we got too many Republicans in denial as to what a disaster this is.
Oh, and this is the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing I ever saw. Kim Jong-un, or whatever the name is, I can't pronounce that shit. So they're going up there and in shock. He's basically, when it comes down to it, he's basically taking pity on us and saying, "What's wrong with your guy?"
It's the whole North Korea thing's a very complicated thing. Clearly.
But when you start taking pity on us, that's pretty bad.
Well, a lot of these news stories and a lot of things that are said, there's inaccuracies in there. There's been a lot of a lot of our reports that we get about North Korea are inaccurately reported, or bad translation, or propaganda, or things we misunderstand, or things that they fabricate. I mean, I don't know, but. I mean, the whole situation is a very complicated situation. I mean, North Korea clearly is a
He
country.
calls him deranged. And most of the world, most
Yes.
of the world agree with him.
Yeah.
Most of the world leaders agree with him.
Well, yeah, but let's keep in mind that the Kim Jong Un ain't exactly a sane leader as well. But the thing is that ruthless dictator he might be, he wants to be recognized as a country. He wants recognition from the from the international community that North Korea is a country, and
that's basically it.
We don't exactly have a good history here. I mean, the Korean War, we did some awful things to the North Koreans. Whether or not it's defensible or not, however you feel about that, it was still some pretty awful things that happened, and it was our country that did that. So it's not exactly uncalled for North Korea to not like us and to feel that they need to defend themselves against us. That doesn't mean I want them to have nuclear weapons, but certainly threatening to destroy them or threatening to send fire and fury their way is not exactly an intelligent way to deal with the situation. I mean, first of all, I don't want to be the world police. I don't think it's on us to remove a dictator from power. I think that's a North Korea problem.
That's another thing.
I think it's up to us to keep things diplomatic and be like, hey, look we don't want to destroy you, and don't, as long as you don't want to destroy us. That's
the thing.
How can we get to that point?
For some reason, I don't know how, but for some reason, we got, quote unquote, elected to be the world police because nobody else wanted the job.
No, we didn't. We weren't elected to be the world police. We just went around bullying other countries, sticking our nose where it don't belong, and built up a powerful military. And
we were kind of elected that.
Well, we've also we continue to own that, and it's you want to talk about like our real budget issues. Let's look at how much we spend on military. There's our real spending problem right there. If we rein that in a bit, we could do a lot of good because it is out of fucking control.
$700 billion for the military. And 1.2 trillion in tax cuts.
But no, it's the poor people.
Well, where's the money coming from?
It's the poor people that are starving on the street. They're the drain on society. It had nothing to do with the billions and billions of dollars we pour into a military to play world police.
Or the rich.
Ugh.
Reaganomics doesn't work. We send, we give tax cuts.
It works. It works great for the rich. Not so good for the middle class or the poor.
They'll see benefits from it. Businesses will have more money to hire more people at greater salaries. Bullshit. Last time that was done, Reaganomics. The rich went there and grabbed all the money and then lowered people's salaries.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I think the real defining moment of Reagan's presidency was when he fired the air traffic controller union, which completely weakened unions and sent a clear message: you'll take your crumbs and you'll like it. Reagan is among one of the worst presidents we've ever had in this country, and it's sad that people don't know that.
Well, I don't know. I think Carter was come close.
Carter was actually trying to, get some sanity.
Inflation will never be controlled in our lifetime.
Well, look at it.
Well, now it is after he got out.
Yeah.
But it took Reagan to do it.
You take a look at Reagan and what Reagan did. Take a look at the national debt. Take a look at the numbers. Reagan,
national debt, you can really, really attribute anything.
Reagan was the first president that ran up the credit card bill, unprecedented levels, unlike anything we had ever seen before him. It's absolutely ridiculous how irresponsible Reagan was.
No.
With our
that
national
was
debt.
it.
Yeah, that was totally
that was it.
Look at the national debt and look at how much Reagan drove it up.
Nope.
That's certainly part of the problem.
It was him raiding Social Security. Took the funds, even though he wasn't supposed to, because it wasn't his money. It wasn't the government's money. And took, between him and Bush, $1.2 trillion from the Social Security Fund, which we paid for. It was our money, and they took it and didn't pay it back. Then there was, the Sandinista-Contra affair. Well, the Contras, we couldn't supply them directly, but we could supply them indirectly, through Iran. and how they pay for it? Cocaine. Tons and tons of cocaine, which the border guards kind of, sort of looked the other way.
Reagan,
and we had a massive cocaine problem in this country before. A gram of cocaine would cost $100. The so-called rich person's drug. Then after Reagan, the price came down to like $15 a gram, and everybody got into it. But then there was so much cocaine that crack became economical. Dun, 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 dun. Say no to drugs. Hell no, this shit's good. Yeah.
But still, I mean, there's many problems that you want to look at, and if people are concerned about national debt, I mean, it's at the point where there's no sign of that debt ever going down or being paid off, and
hell no.
But it's got to be at some point, doesn't it? And you look at the numbers.
You would think so.
You look at the numbers.
The numbers. The numbers.
It exploded. Reagan added $1.86 trillion to our national debt.
The numbers. Okay, in New York,
and then
there is a clock in New York.
Yeah.
That sits there and tells you the national debt, and it's a real-time clock.
Yeah.
That counts it up.
It just keeps going up, flying up because of the interest. It's ridiculous.
Flying up. It's flying up. And we passed it a few times. And we looked at it like, wow.
and I mean, it doesn't.
And that was in the 80s.
It doesn't completely start with Reagan, but Reagan took spending on the deficit or spending, putting us in the debt, unlike in unprecedented levels. I mean, when Reagan came into office, we had $299 billion in debt. No. We had $299 billion was added by Carter, which brought us up to $699 billion. Reagan added $1.86 trillion to that.
Oh, that's all?
Bush Sr., in half of the time, added another $1.5 trillion.
And this was after Clinton had a budget surplus.
Well, no, that's Bush Sr. Clinton came in, and in all of Clinton's 8 years, he added $1.4 trillion. He added less than Bush Sr. in twice the time. However, he still did drive it up, and both parties are guilty of driving this up. But he did get us in the right direction at the end of his presidency, and did leave with a surplus, which could be too little, too late. But if we stayed on that path,
But no, Bush W went there and destroyed that.
W is the new Reagan. He added 5.8 trillion.
And then there's Trump.
Well, then Obama added nearly 8 trillion.
Only because he was basically effectively powerless, to do anything about it, because the Congress refused
I mean, part
to
of
pass any laws that was set us on track a lot sooner.
I don't know what Obama's long-term plans were about the debt, but he inherited a very bad situation from W.
Yes, and he would have fixed it, but Congress would refuse to let him do it.
The one opportunity we had in our lifetime where there was momentum that was moving in the right direction, because, I mean, right now it is like there's momentum and it is driving up and up and up. Clinton actually was starting to swing things in the right direction. If we stayed on the path that Clinton laid for us, we could have been in a much better place.
Of course. Well, of course, the Republicans are against that sort of thing.
The thing is, Republicans love to spend just as much as Democrats do. I think a lot of Republicans are in denial about that.
They want to put in their own pockets. That's why you got all those weird tax cuts.
Well, hey, you look at anyone in Congress. It don't matter which side of the aisle they're in. They're stuffing it all in their pockets. Lobbyists, they vote in their own raises every year. That is across the board,
but
and that's where we need term limits.
That's only a couple millions of dollars. When you go into things like tax cuts, deregulation, and the cutting of essential services. You're talking a couple $1 trillion here going into the pockets of the rich, who.
But a big problem is we need term limits because we got so much corruption in there, and people
and
that
they
are
think
owned.
that by giving the taxes to the rich will make them richer. Like the Kochs, so they're saying,
Cokes.
I'll give Cokes, whatever. We'll give you $400 million. If you destroy Obamacare.
Yeah, well, how's that working for Trump there?
Yeah, because they see that as like nuts. That's incredible.
Say what you will about Obama, at least he got one thing done in the brief period of time at the start of his presidency that he had some power to do something.
Oh yeah.
That's more than the Republicans can say right now. They're sinking. They are going down with the ship, and we're gonna see what happens in the midterms.
Like I said, Obama actually did a lot for this country, despite the Republicans. Even though he had to sign into executive order, which told people. Through their massive means, Obama's a dictator. Oh, he's a tyrant. He's passing all these executive orders without, consent of the Congress. And they were to help the country, which they did because Congress wouldn't do it. So now the Republicans are trying to get rid of everything that he did. To dismiss or get rid of every single thing that he did. No matter what advantage it was to the country. Anti-violence against women. Get rid of it. And various other programs that were killed. I ain't going to go through the list. But everything he did, they tried to destroy to get rid of his legacy. A lot of good that'll do. His legacy will still stay put, but Congress will be blamed for getting rid of them. Real
Anyways.
smart tactic there.
Let's see. Do we have any light news today?
Damn it, we got on this subject again.
We got to end on a light note. Let's see if we can find something to end on a light note. Let's see. Wow. No, even Fark is depressing today.
Everything is depressing.
Let's see.
Oh wait. Well, someone, kind of, it's kind of lighthearted. Okay, like a thing I did, on my show like that. Bands, unsigned bands who aren't, with a label yet.
Okay.
I went and said, and told them, don't sit there and go and say, I'm a band, and I'm going to put stuff up on Spotify, and all the other sites, where you got to pay for our music, and pay for our music and listen to us. No, you don't want to do that, because nobody knows who you are. Okay, and nobody's going to pay for sight unseen. Okay? People are not going to pay, for a single by an unknown band, say, okay, let's see what this sounds like. Yay, I paid 99 cents for it. Oh, God, these guys sound like shit. I just lost money. No, they're not going to do that. But I told them, put yourself up on something like SoundCloud or Reverb Nation, and put a few songs up. Not all of them, but just a few, like maybe 3 or 4. So you can let people know what you sound like, and then you can become more well known. People will, be more willing, because you've done this thing. Oh, and also internet radio. Okay, let yourself become available for internet radio stations to grab it and play it, so that more listeners can hear what you sound like, so they'll be more willing to go to your concerts and possibly buy your stuff. And quite a few of them did that. And, and they're doing very well now. Like, there's one group, Calling All Astronauts. They're a rock band, and they're doing very well now. At the time I picked them up, when I first noticed them on Reverb Nation, I'd listen to them, like, hey, that sounds cool. And played it on the air, told them about it, and told them, what to do. And now they're traveling, the world, and cool. they got airplay, on actual radio stations, and they got verified on Twitter. And quite a few people have done this. Quite a few groups have done this, and somehow or another, I don't know how. I Googled myself on Twitter. Not Googled myself, but Googled myself, and found out my name had come up as one of the top 10 posts. I don't know who the hell did this, but I ended up being one of the top 10 posters that helps people, helps music groups and the blind. A top 10 poster? Where the fuck did that come from?
I don't know.
But I like it.
And on that note, we've brought ourselves to the end of a angry political rant episode of Time Out with Gators and Venison.
do that?
I hope Dune's still willing to do a show with me on Sundays. No, man.
We tuned out a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. Although actually, apparently, due to my retweeting something in favor of taking the knee, he almost didn't want to do a show with me. But
Yeah.
apparently our friendship can survive it. So we did a show, we had a good time, and we even talked a little bit about it, and it was a little tense. But I think we continue to have a mutual respect. Even if we both strongly disagree with things that the others say.
Don't call him the R word.
The thought never crossed my mind, Venison. I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to have to, say that I don't. No, come on now. Come on now, Venison. Anyways, we do try to be educational here. And
Hey, he's nice to me, so I can't call him that.
Anyways, I think we've learned a lot here tonight. I know I certainly have. Now, how about you, Venison? Have you learned anything tonight?
Well, I've learned that when you go on the corporate budget, you just take advantage of it fully. I can't believe you didn't go into the hot tub. That's the most relaxing thing on the face of the earth.
Well, it wasn't. It was, it wasn't a big. I mean, it was one of those little sweet hot tubs made for two type of thing.
Oh, even better.
I don't know. I had other things to do.
You could have ordered, a hurricane and been sipping in it, sitting in a hot tub going, ah.
No, the hurricanes were at the club. There wasn't booze.
I'm sure the hotel could have got a recipe.
I couldn't even get it served a beer standing at the bar. I don't think they're going to bring mixed drinks to my room.
But if you call room service,
I'm not putting. I'm not pushing my luck with the expense report. I'll let my boss do that.
Uh-huh. So, your chicken to use expense account.
Oh, I expensed plenty. I just, was a little sane about it. We did go out to a really nice steakhouse for Wednesday night's dinner. And I mean, it was wonderful. Best steak I ever had. Bottle of wine.
You were with the boss.
Yeah, and the boss was going to order his steak from this nice fancy steakhouse. He was going to order it medium well. And I was like, how you ordering your? He's like, what are you ordering? Oh, ordering the ribeye. Oh yeah, it looks good. That's what I'm ordering too. Getting it medium rare. How about you? Medium well. I get my meat medium well. And I'm like, well, you can't do that. You can't order medium well at a steakhouse.
Why not?
You gotta at least go medium.
No. Cause see, I don't like that rare stuff. Yeah, okay, fine. It's cooked on the outside, but red and raw on the inside.
Oh yeah.
I don't like chewing raw meat.
Oh no, when it's a good quality steak, it isn't even chewy. It's like butter, and it was medium rare, at least.
Nah, I'm not into the raw meat thing.
Oh,
I'm a carnivore, yes, but but not raw meat.
Anyways, he ordered medium, so I talked him into it. And but the best was Thursday night. Microsoft, they go all out. They rented out Universal Studios for the night for everyone in the conference. So it was only for the Microsoft convention. The whole park's open. Wonderful night. Anyways, we were talking about what we learned.
God.
Oh yeah, it was a great trip. But I did. Tonight. But so I learned this week. I guess the big thing I learned from all of this, other than now Microsoft wants to do everything cloud based. I learned that hurricanes taste like blue.
Yeah. I wonder if I was in your company, if I would have had the same thing.
Well, they only send a certain number of people, and I'm the senior help desk support person. So they want to make sure that I'm brushed up on the latest technology and that I can pass the knowledge down to the rest of the team. So,
Remember, I've been into technology for 40 years. I would have been up there.
okay. Well, anyways.
But I still probably would have been, nudged out.
I don't know.
Because
On that note,
Yeah.
no. It's time to put
Come
another show to bed. Be sure to check out all our other programmings for all your internet radio needs. Head on over to nhbradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at NHBRadio. Also follow at Johnny Gators and at Venison88A. Or, no, just Venison88. But also be sure to tune in to ADHD Radio tomorrow. And also Sunday, Dune and Bob Show. Well, hopefully. And thank you everyone for listening. And good night.
Racism is a